Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. This is essentially a part 2 of my steelbook collection because the video was getting so big I had to cut it down into 2 pieces. So I did all of the other consoles except for PS4, which was the Xbox 360, Xbox One, 3DS, Switch, PS3 and PS5. And if you haven't checked that out yet, please go and check it out. I've got some really cool little bits and pieces. I mean, some of them you can just see on the shelf behind me, but there are some other rare steelbooks I have on those consoles. Just before we start getting into the PS4 steelbooks, just wanted to quickly shout out the Bilston Black Country Game Fair. I went there on the 2nd of March, and just as like an update to my PS3 steelbook collection, I did pick up the Batman Arkham City steelbook. Now, as you can probably see, it's not in the best condition. It has a lot of rust at the top, same on the back, but it comes complete with the manual. I don't know if it was meant to have anything else in there, but for the sake of the £2 that this cost me, I think I bundled this in with some other games and it essentially paid nothing for it. So I'll bundle things up at certain stalls if I've got an interest in like 5 to 10 items, and then I'll figure out how much they're all worth in my head, and essentially at the end I'll say, oh, can you knock a couple quid off, or you know, what's the best price you can do on these? And usually the vendors are really nice. They're all gamers themselves, and I can tell when you're a collector, I think. And you know, they're always willing to knock a little bit off for you if you buy like a big bundle. So essentially, you know, this was free for me on the day. But now to get into the main bulk of my steelbooks. Battlefield 1, got the collector's edition for this from Game. So one that I think is really cool, and I think it's a shame that it is in a cardboard sleeve. As nice as it is to have cardboard sleeve on stuff, the steelbook for this I think is just amazing. Obviously you've got Bayonetta on one side and Vanquish on the other, and I just think it is such a cool steelbook, the way that the, you know, centerpiece is embossed a little bit. You know, Bayonetta herself sticks out. It's just a really cool steelbook. One that I picked up that was a bit of a random buy is Beyond a Steel Sky. Hadn't heard of it. It was during the time where Game was selling off a lot of their pre-owned stock for 50% off. This was one of the things left in there, but it's an interesting little steelbook. I know this is like a point and click adventure, which I'm not really big into, but I do like detective stories and stuff like that, so this is probably one I will play at some point. So the next one, another really cool one, and that is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I believe it was quite a limited release. I don't know if it was a pre-order bonus. Again, it was when I worked at Game. It's blandish, but I do like the way it looks, the black and then her being in full colour. So the next one is Borderlands 3, and I had a great time with this because I played through it with a group of 3 friends, so there's 4 of us, and it was just a laugh. As cringy and as silly as the dialogue was and the characters, it was a laugh to go through with friends. So between this and Tiny Tina's Wonderland, it's made me not as hyped for Borderlands 4. I'll see what they're going to show, how the gameplay looks, what the story kind of is looking like, and I'll probably wait for reviews as well before picking it up. This one is a bit of a lie, but it's because it's one that I intend to have as a PS4 game. If I open this up, you'll see it's a PS3 version in there, but when I do buy a PS4 version, it will just be going straight into this. But that is Call of Duty Ghosts. On brand with that, the next one is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Again, just a very Call of Duty steelbook. Soldiers on the front and back. Again, that come with a cardboard sleeve. Doesn't have it now. I threw it in the bin at some point. Next one, again on the same theme, Modern Warfare. I think this is the only Call of Duty I've actually platinumed as well. Really enjoyed it. Really dark story. Jumping on to one of the more interesting steelbooks is the Catherine Full Body Launch Edition steelbook. Nice cardboard sleeve, and then inside is, I think, the only pink steelbook I have. but just a really, interesting one. Obviously this game is very artsy anyway, I suppose you'd say. So the next one is Control. What an amazing game this was. So I guess unique, trippy comes to mind. Obviously very in line with like SCP kind of stuff. Really cool game. If you haven't ever played it, I recommend checking it out. Next one, another game I got the collector's edition for. Such an amazing collector's edition. Amazing figure. Got loads of little like bits and pieces. There's a keyring that I still have on my keys. But that is Cyberpunk. And it's, a steelbook that's very in line with the universe. Now obviously when this first launched there was a lot of issues. I was very lucky and I only had, I think it was 1 or 2 like hard crashes. I platinumed it when it first came out, and then once Phantom Liberty come out and they'd done the last update, I went back, played it on the PS5, and for me it was already a really good game, and it just, Phantom Liberty took it pretty much 10 out of 10. So if you played Cyberpunk when it first come out and haven't gone back to it, I recommend giving it another go. Just swapped over to the second stack, and the first one is probably my favourite PS4 Steelbook, and that is for Dark Souls 3. A bit of a closer look at this, and it is just such an amazing Steelbook. Again, this was a pickup from Game when I worked there. They, like CEX for a lot of their Steelbooks, just charge the flat price, but this does come complete with the soundtrack as well. Absolutely amazing game. Funnily enough, my most viewed video on this channel is like trolling videos on Dark Souls 3 that I used to do with a friend. I think that was 8 years ago now, but for some reason one of them videos got 38,000 views. So I think that will, at least for a long time, be my most viewed video on this channel. Next one is part of like a PlayStation Special Edition, and that is Days Gone. This is getting so much recognition lately, and I'm glad it is, because I love this game. Thought it was fantastic. It was like a unique kind of take on zombie apocalypses, and it was a cool dynamic. At least I thought so. And I think a lot of people now are going back, playing the game and kind of realising what a gem it was. So I got the special edition at launch. I'm glad I did. I really enjoyed going through this game and getting the platinum for it. I don't think I'll go for the remastered version. It seems a bit silly to me to remaster a game that is 4 or 5 years old. It still looks amazing on the PS4, so I don't see the need for that when there's games out there like the original God of War trilogy and stuff like that that would benefit more from a remaster. But in that special edition also comes the art of Days Gone. Yeah, I would just really recommend giving this game a go if you skipped it back in the day. So the next game, or the next Steelbook, is Death Stranding. Really unique, typical Kojima kind of game. I actually really enjoyed this game, and it was very unique. But once you got more into the game and you could, build zip lines and different modes of transport to get around, it just became really fun, and just seeing where the story would go was something that kept me going through it. Don't know if I'd recommend everyone give it a go, because it is one that is a bit hard to get into. Bit of a bland Steelbook as well, obviously just nothing on the back. And then, was it Sam? Whatever the character's name was on the front. Next one is Destiny 2. So this come in like a big box. I think it was the deluxe edition or something. It is just sitting on top of the shelf to my left, but I'll probably go through all of my big box stuff in a separate video in the future. So for now I'll just show off the Steelbook, but yeah, nothing too fancy. The Destiny 2 symbol, Red Legion symbol. I have put so much time into this game. Played pretty much every expansion that has come out, and I think I'm at a point where I'm just kind of done with Destiny. Final Shape was fine. The stuff that's been coming out after Final Shape has just been very meh. So I think I'm done with Destiny 2. If they do a Destiny 3, I'll probably give it a look. Obviously Bungie are under Sony now, so it's essentially under Sony what happens with their games. Next one, one that used to be everywhere. I felt like I used to see the Steelbook all the time. Not so often nowadays, but again, with any Steelbook, you don't see it very often. That is Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I thought they were really interesting games, I guess. I don't know if they'd hold up too well today. It's been a while since I've gone back and played them. Next one seems to be a bit of a rare one as well. That is the Devil May Cry 5 Deluxe Edition. Nice holographic cardboard sleeve, and then an even nicer looking Steelbook. This is one that doesn't have like any embossing, but just really nice art on the Steelbook itself. Next one, funnily enough, is a Steelbook I got with the Xbox One Collector's Edition. I think it might come with a cardboard sleeve, and that's why it doesn't have it now, because I use it for my PS4 version. That is Dishonored 2. I have the Corvo Tano mask, and I think it comes with like a ring or something as well. Nothing special to say about the Steelbook really. Got the two main characters on. Good games. I have to be in a certain kind of mood to play stealthy games like that. I guess you could throw Deathloop into that because it's arcane as well. Really fun games to play, and if you become a master of like the abilities and stuff, you can do some really wacky stuff. But I never put enough time into them to get that good with them. Next one is a game that kind of died on launch in the West. That is Dissidia Final Fantasy NT. I had a lot of fun with this when it came out, but finding games, you were just waiting in lobbies forever, even within the first few weeks of launch, and yeah, it just died more and more from there. I played it with a couple of friends. It was fun. Wish it would have taken off more than it did, but unfortunately it didn't. Nice Steelbook with the Final Fantasy characters on. Obviously if you're a Final Fantasy fan, it's a nice one to have in the collection. Next one is another one I got in an Xbox One Collector's Edition. I still have the figure for. That is the Doom Steelbook. The Doom font on the front is embossed, so it stands out just a little bit. But yeah, the front and back are basically the same, just minus the Doom logo. And obviously now there is a PS4 copy of the game in there. I know it will drive people mad that I have that upside down, so there you go. Next one is one that is also quite rare in my eyes. It's a pretty cool one, I think. Dragon's Crown Pro Hardened Edition. That would be the back. Obviously the front of this is a little bit scuffed right there. But the Steelbook itself, all of the characters on the front here are like really heavily embossed, which is really nice. And on the back we've got some cool art from the game of a dragon, and I just think it looks really nice, really interesting art style, really fun, like turn-based combat. So if you're into that kind of game and you haven't heard of that before, check it out. It's a really fun game to play, to be fair. Next one, another one that I got a collector's edition for. So it wasn't from game itself, but it was a perk of working at game. Because one of our regulars, he would come in and he would buy every collector's edition. He brought this in one day, and that was Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind. Brought it in the box with the figure, everything in mint condition, barely looked at used, had the big art book with it and everything. And game being game, we offered him, I don't even know what it was at the time, like a £5 or something, £10. So he turned around to me and he said, "Look, do you want it?" He said, "If you want it, I'll give it you for 20 quid. So I'll make a bit of extra money, you get it for a bargain." Bland Steelbook all in all, absolutely nothing on the back. and then just the symbol for Morrowind on the front. Next one is the Skyrim Special Edition Steelbook. Obviously everyone will just know this as Skyrim. Nothing really too crazy going on with the Steelbook. I mean, if I open it up, it does create like a full image, and then inside I do have a map and the manual. This, if I remember, was a pre-order bonus for the game, but they were incredibly limited. But I remember that being seen as quite a rare steelbook to have, so obviously I'm happy to have it in the collection. I have platinumed Skyrim as well, and obviously it's a classic game, really good. Getting on to the third pile of games, because we need to get a move on. We've still got, 3 piles to get through. First one, classic game, Fallout 4, really fun game, pretty bland steelbook. This one for some reason has signs of, like, I don't know if it's, I have cleaned these recently, so it's not dirt, but there's some kind of like marking on the front. I'm guessing it's rust. One that I picked up from a charity shop for 25p, and you'll see why, is FIFA 16. I don't even have this displayed. I don't even know why people would have got this, if it was a certain edition it come with. I am not the person to talk to about FIFA, but obviously this is a messy one. I don't know if that means that this is worth something because he's a good player, or if these were just overproduced to the point where this is worth nothing. I do not know. One that you don't see every day is the limited edition for Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. A bit of a different kind of Final Fantasy game, which is why it's not a mainline numbered title. Didn't realise this still had stickers on it. As you can see, I got this from Game. It's a nice steelbook. I like the back. So 3 characters on the back. You've got Ace, is it, on the front. But yeah, really good game. If you've never played the Final Fantasy Type 0, give it a go. It's a lot darker than a lot of the mainline Final Fantasy games, so I recommend giving it a go, checking it out. One of the few Final Fantasies I've never played but do intend to, and that's why I bought this, because I wanted to and I just never got around to it, is Final Fantasy 12 The Zodiac Age. Absolutely beautiful steelbook on the front. I love the artwork that they've decided to go with, how it showcases all of the characters. The back is a lot more bland, but I can forgive that with the front being so good. Really nice steelbook. Again, I do want to play it at some point in the not too distant future. In line with Final Fantasy, we'll go back to one I did earlier on the Xbox, and that is Final Fantasy 15 again. Obviously this now is the deluxe edition, is the more traditional Final Fantasy artwork. Obviously really nice looking. And inside, if I get rid of all of the paperwork and stuff, you've got a copy of the game and a copy of the Blu-ray version of Kingsglaive. So the next one is in a big box, Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Funnily enough, I hadn't actually played Final Fantasy 7 until, I think it was when this was announced, so what, like 3 or 4 years before this released. And in that time, I'd played it, absolutely fell in love with the characters, platinum the game, the original game, and then was waiting patiently like everyone else for this to come out. Really nice steelbook. Obviously the back, like most, is just the logo for the game, and then the front you have Sephiroth on. I'll quickly show the other things we got in this while we're here. So you got the mini soundtrack, you got the normal case for the game, the deluxe edition art book. But yeah, really nice little deluxe edition. I think this is worth quite a bit. Next game is another one from a collector's edition, and again, if you saw the Game Room tour, you would have seen this. That is the God of War reboot, Norse mythology saga. I forgot this was in there. While we're here, I'll show you. it's the map of the game. But yeah, I love the figure from this one. Whilst I love having the Mjolnir hammer, it's a bit of an awkward thing to display really. Whereas having a figure of the characters, obviously that's a lot easier to just put up on a shelf, have it look nice. Next one is a franchise that people love, but I don't think this game did too well, and that is Killzone Shadowfall. Interesting looking front, just the logo for Guerrilla Game Studios on the back. Nothing special in this, just the steelbook, and unfortunately I don't know if it will show, but it is quite like, it's got a dent here, and then look, I don't know, the steel's coming loose or something. Next one is another deluxe edition, and that is Kingdom Hearts 3. The steelbook for this, as much as I love the franchise, is, you know, pretty boring. It's just a pattern on the front of all the different symbols from the game, and that's about it. I really enjoyed it. I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan. It's another franchise I've got a tattoo for. But yeah, so that's the art book. You get the steelbook, and then just a normal copy of the game. Next one, another one from a collector's edition, and that is Last of Us Part 2. Another controversial game really. I did get spoiled on this with all the leaks that come out, but I still played it, still give it a go despite knowing what was coming. Still hit as hard, and I did have a good time with it. Next one is another one I got from the guy that I bought Street Fighter 6 Collector's Edition from. Bad as this game flopped, at least the steelbook is something interesting to look at, with some of the better Marvel characters on the front. So if you saw my £198 game hunt video, you would have seen that I picked this up recently as well. Really nice steelbook. I love the colours, I love the art. I just think it looks really nice. So when I saw that in CEX, I wasn't going to just leave it there. So let's now get into the fourth pile of games, and the first one is somewhat relevant to a game that's coming out this week, which I have pre-ordered. I don't normally, but it's a game I have a lot of trust in, and it was also a steelbook version of the game, and that is Monster Hunter World Iceborne, the Master Edition. But this is one of them steelbooks that is just stunning. You have the fight between Nergigante and Fatalis, but I don't think that is. But yeah, absolutely amazing game. Looking forward to Wilds. I don't think I'm ready to put another 300 plus hours into it. Amazing game, amazing steelbook. Next one is Mortal Kombat 11, as it says, the Steelbook edition. I think this was an Amazon pickup at the time. So the Mortal Kombat games are the fighting games that I love the most. NetherRealm I just think make great fighters. Nier Automata. Now this steelbook, for whatever reason, is worth quite a bit. I will never sell this because this game is probably my favourite game on the PS4. I have all the respect for Yoko Taro, and the soundtrack for this, actually, I haven't showed off many of these, but this will be one I'm happy to show, which is the Nier Automata and Gestalt vinyl collection. Absolutely amazing soundtracks. I think it's Keiichi Okabe, probably pronounced that very wrong, but he is such a master when it comes to like soundtracks and stuff. His music is next level. But we'll carry on with the games and the steelbooks. Next one is Ni no Kuni 2. A very different style of game from Ni no Kuni 1. Still a really fun game. Very Ghibli-esque. I know Ghibli helped a lot with the first one. I can't remember if they did with the art on this one. Next one is another big box one, or biggish box one, and that is No Man's Sky. But this came with a steelbook, very minimal steelbook, but it's a cool one to have. So I'll quickly show what else is in here while we're here. There's a kind of like yeah, some kind of comic about adventures in No Man's Sky, and there is also an art book for No Man's Sky. Next one, Overwatch Origins Edition. Can't even play this game anymore because I put this disc in and I get Overwatch 2. Next one, used to be a bit of a rarer, more expensive steelbook. Don't think it is anymore, but that is Persona 5. I mean, like the art style in the game, the art for the steelbook is just really cool. Didn't get the collector's edition for that, but I did get the collector's edition for Persona 5 Royal. Obviously this just says the Steelbook edition. This was part of the Phantom Thieves edition, which I would show you, but you are currently resting on it, so I cannot do that. But yeah, this come with like a, I don't know if it's ceramic or plastic version of the mask that come with a stand, come with an art book, and I think the soundtrack as well. But the Steelbook, really nice, a bit different to the base game Steelbook. Next one is Prey. This Steelbook, you flip it this way and it's the female lead, flip it that way, it's the male lead. Really cool game. The mechanic and the kind of idea of the game is just really interesting. Don't want to talk about it too much in case you haven't played it, because I do think it's worth checking out. You can pick this up for dirt cheap nowadays. Oh, that's sliding out. Got a copy of the soundtrack. So the next one is the only steelbook I have for this franchise, and that is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Obviously this kind of rejuvenated the Resident Evil series. Really clever what they did with going first person and making it more horror, because Resident Evil 5 and 6 were basically just action games. Next one, a bit of a rare one, I think, one that's a bit expensive to get if you want a copy of it, but that is the Sekiro Shadows Die Twice steelbook. I love From Software games, but this one I want to go back to it and give it another go, but when it launched I tried it, I just couldn't gel with it. I know so many people say so many great things. Next one is Middle Earth Shadow of War. I am missing the Shadow of Mordor one, which is cool because it has like an embossed version of the character's face. Can't remember his name, didn't say it on the box. But this one's okay. Weirdly on the front, as you can see, it was a Tesco exclusive. Back when supermarkets in the UK used to sell games. That doesn't really happen anymore either. Yeah, it's an okay steelbook. Better than some. I do like the characters on the back that you can see. But actually, on the day that I'm recording this, it's coming out that Monolith has been shut down. So it's a shame, you know, we'll never see anything else like that from them. They were meant to be working on Wonder Woman, we'll never get to see that. So, we finally made it to the last stack of games. First game on this pile is a very unique style of steelbook, if you want to call it that. That is for Shining Resonance Refrain. And from there it looks normal, but then it's like open-ended this side, and it's kind of like in there. So it's kind of like a cardboard sleeve, but a steelbook. But yeah, I haven't actually played this, but I remember getting it quite early on with my PS4 when I first started collecting for it. Next one, unfortunately the cardboard sleeve is a bit battered on this one, but that is Sifu Vengeance Edition. The steelbook for this is okay. You got a character on the front and a logo on the back. In that Vengeance Edition of the game, you got like little art cards, a couple of them, and an art book with some, you know, interesting art and stuff inside. Considering this was pre-owned, the stuff inside is fine, it's just the cardboard sleeve is battered, unfortunately. I mean, as you can see, up on the side there. That's the side that's meant to be displayed on the shelf. It's got that on, so I'll just display. Luckily this has the name on as well, so I'll just display it backwards. Next one is Spider-Man on the PS4. This wasn't part of the collector's edition, but it was part of the deluxe edition, like big box. I don't have it here. I'm guessing it's up in the loft. I'll have to go and have a look. I've got loads of stuff up there I need to sort through, to be honest. Annoyingly, it doesn't come with the name on the side, but because it's a nice bright red case, you know what it is. Next one is a game that I always heard was meant to be bad. Don't even know if you'd know what it is based on the front or the back, but it is Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness. I just heard as a RPG it was a bit lacking. Again, one I want to get to one day. Unfortunately with JRPGs, you know, you're looking at least 40 hours just to complete the game. If I wanted to go for the platinum, you're looking at, you know, double or sometimes even triple that. Next one is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So obviously you've got Cal Kestis on the front, and then you've got BD1 on the back. Star Wars is a franchise that I do love. It's really cool steelbook. Really cool game. Obviously, as I said, I love Souls-likes, and just so happened that this was a Souls-like within the Star Wars universe. Collectibles were a bit of a ball ache, but other than that, absolutely fantastic game. Next one is Tales of Symphonia Remastered. I do really like the steelbook for this. I think I got this in a Black Friday sale for like £10, something like that. I think it was games. But we've got some art cards, stickers and art cards, or postcards, whatever you call them. And then the steelbook itself, I'm guessing this is a character. But yeah, just a really nice, very shiny steelbook. And then you've got like the logo or the title for the game on the back. Next one, I think this comes as like a pre-order bonus for the game when it come out, but that is the steelbook version of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So I've not played this one, but I played the definitive edition and the Rise of the Tomb Raider, but never got around to playing this one. So I'm guessing this is something to do with the story in the game, some kind of like medallion or something like that. You come with some like art cards as well. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Actually, I think this is the most recent collector's edition I've added to the collection. Obviously there's nothing inside with the game, but I do have the figure of Nate Drake. Fantastic game. I think I might have played 4 before I went back and played the remastered collection, because again, I didn't have a PS3, so I missed out on the first 3 games initially, and then just played that when I got a PS4. Next one I believe is from a collector's edition, but it's a collector's edition I don't actually own. It's one I got traded into game when I worked there and I just bought it, and that is The Witcher 3. Really nice steelbook. I mean, if you look closely at like the art, you can see scenes from the game, and with this one you can see Geralt. It's got the Game of the Year edition in, so it has all the DLC built on there. I don't know if it was meant to come with something there. I'm guessing it did. Again, the only problem with it is when it's sitting on the shelf like that, you won't know what you're looking at. Next one is Wolfenstein 2. Don't think the game is in here anymore. Now I've got all the art cards and stuff still, but the reason the game's not in there is because I have the Alt History collection, which obviously includes 2. I sold, when I got my PS5, I sold my PS4 to my little brother. Because I already had a copy of this, I just gave him the disc from out of here and said, yeah, you can just have that. Next one is a more recent pickup from Vinted. Again, I got this for a bargain. I think I paid £5 for it. I know the game flopped when it come out, and that is 13, a limited edition. It is also, I believe, in French. But for a £5, you know, from the front, and the sides you can't tell at all, and obviously from the steelbook you would never know. It's a somewhat interesting steelbook, but yeah, I know it was quite buggy at launch. I've heard it's got better. I don't know how much, but I did love it on the PS2, so I do want to go back and play it at some point. Next three are all from the same series, and these are the Yakuza Kiwami games. So you've got Yakuza Kiwami 1, which is obviously like a remake of the first Yakuza. Comes with the plastic sleeve, and then the steelbook itself, you've got like a Yakuza tattoo on the back, which is really nice, really pops with colour. And then on the front you've got Kiryu, and I cannot remember the little girl's name, but just a really nice steelbook. And the next one following that same franchise is the Yakuza Kiwami 2 steelbook. Obviously a bit of a different colour scheme, but still a very nice one to have. Again, you've got Kiryu on the front with the Yakuza tattoo style behind him. And then I've never played 2, but I'm guessing that is the bad guy from the game. I do really love the Yakuza games. I love the comedy, the humour in them. They're just so long, and because I like the platinum games, having to do pretty much 100% of the game, especially with these older titles, there's just so much to do in them. But I have heard they get better with Like a Dragon. Obviously, as you can see, this is still completely sealed. Bought it with the intent to play it. Do want to go and play it still. So I have also got Like a Dragon Ishin, which is like the more Edo period style of like old samurai style stuff, with the same characters. And then I've also got, is it Infinite Wealth for the PS5 as well? One that I missed, so we'll essentially call this the first one because it should have been, but it's the Anthem Steelbook. I think this was like a pre-order bonus from game when it come out. You got like magnets you can stick onto the front, and I still have them somewhere. The reason I didn't have this in that video was because I was actually looking for the magnets, and I can't for the life of me find them. So they're either up in the loft with some of my other gaming stuff, or they're hidden in one of the drawers somewhere. But I did have a good look, couldn't find them. So it is what it is, but to add this on because I forgot it. So now that I've shown you all of my PS4 Steelbooks, again just wanted to jump in because I did get another PS4 Steelbook from the Black Country Game Fair. And that came in this collector's edition for Far Cry Primal. I managed to pick this up for £20, which I think is more than a fair price for it. And the only issue with it is that it is in German, as you can see on the back. But other than, you know, the general cardboard wear and tear and the sticker residue left on the front, it's in not too bad condition. I mean, once you take that off, it looks basically perfect, and you'd never know it was, you know, a German release of it. It has a really nice little like catch system with the saber-tooth fangs on the front, and then inside obviously you've got a copy of the game. You had the soundtrack, which is empty, and I'll show you why in a sec. You had the map of, is it Oros? And then a little booklet, which, you know, if you saw this, you'd know it was in German. But it is just like a little, gives you a little information about things in the game. It's a nice little booklet to have. So obviously the main thing about getting that collection edition was the steelbook that came with it. And this is basically, you know, I don't like to say it too often, but mint condition. No dents, no rust, no scratches. It looks like it has just been sat in that box since it came out. So obviously you got a copy of the game. That's the soundtrack there, so I took it out of the sleeve and I put it in here because this had 2 disc slots anyway, and then the manual as well. So all in all, really nice steelbook. Love the design on the front of the saber-tooth skull. Obviously Far Cry Primal is a lot about like the prehistoric animals and stuff like that, and you know, the whole box is essentially designed around the saber-tooth. So that is the end of the look at all of my PlayStation 4 Steelbooks, and as you can see, I've got a lot, and you can probably understand now why I cut this video down into two, because the first video was what, like 20 minutes, and this one's probably going to work out to be like 40 to 50. Whilst I don't mind uploading long form content on here, I know it's something that I'm asking a lot from my audience. When I'm putting up like an hour video, it's a lot to ask for someone to sit there for an hour. So I do want to try and, you know, cut things down as much as I can. I'm getting a bit better with sitting in front of a camera now and talking to the camera. So hopefully editing won't take as long, because I won't be cutting out all the mistakes I make and all the and, you know, pauses and stuff like that. But just wanted to say thank you so much for watching another video. Please let me know what you think was the best Steelbook that I've got in my PlayStation 4 collection. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.